Picture this. A giant ship docks at the bustling port of Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. On board are thousands upon thousands of sacks filled with cashew nuts, shiny, golden treasures known as Africa's white gold. Farmers cheer, officials smile, and the global market shakes. Why? Because these cashews are no longer headed to middlemen or underpriced buyers. They are going straight into the hands of a new, powerful partner, India. Yes, you heard it right. India, already the world's largest processor and consumer of cashews, has just struck a multi-billion-dollar deal with Tanzania. This isn't just about snacks. This is about power, strategy, and Africa's unstoppable rise. This deal means more money in the pockets of Tanzanian farmers, more jobs in local processing, and a stronger partnership between Africa and Asia. It also means the West, the United States, Europe, and even rival processors like Vietnam are suddenly left watching from the sidelines. So buckle up, because today we are diving into one of the most explosive trade stories of the year. India secures Tanzania cashew deal worth billions. Africa rising. And remember, you're watching Eazicho Africa, the channel where Africa's biggest deals, boldest leaders, and brightest opportunities come alive. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time, because you do not want to miss what's coming next. Tanzania is not just famous for Mount Kilimanjaro, Zanzibar, or the Serengeti. It is also one of Africa's cashew powerhouses. For decades, cashews have been a backbone of Tanzania's agricultural economy. Cashews arrived in East Africa centuries ago, but in the past 50 years, they became Tanzania's white gold. Why? Because the country produces hundreds of thousands of tons every year, making it one of the top producers in Africa and the world. But here's the problem. Most of those cashews were exported raw, without being processed locally. Middlemen would swoop in, buy from farmers at dirt-cheap prices, ship the nuts abroad, mostly to India or Vietnam, and make enormous profits after processing. Meanwhile, Tanzanian farmers stayed poor. Think about it. Farmers breaking their backs under the hot sun, producing high-quality cashews, but seeing only a fraction of the value. For decades, that was the story. The government tried interventions, minimum price guarantees, farmer cooperatives, and auctions, but still, without investment in local processing and guaranteed large buyers, Tanzanians were losing out. Enter India. This deal changes the script. For the first time, Tanzania isn't just selling cashews in bulk. It's entering a strategic partnership that guarantees better prices, new processing plants, and jobs for local communities. Cashew is not just a crop. It is life for nearly 300,000 farming families. And with billions on the line, this deal could turn Tanzania's cashew belt into one of the most profitable agricultural regions in the world. India and cashews are inseparable. From Diwali sweets to wedding banquets, from luxury exports to the Middle East and Europe, India consumes and processes more cashews than any other country. India processes over 40% of the world's cashew nuts, employing hundreds of thousands of workers, especially women, in its coastal states like Kerala, Goa, and Maharashtra. But here's the kicker. India doesn't produce enough raw cashews at home. Its domestic supply covers less than half of its demand. So what does India do? It imports, and Africa is its #1 source. Tanzania, with its fertile land and reliable harvests, is a dream partner. By securing a long-term deal with Tanzania, India not only locks in a steady supply, but also pushes out competitors. With a rising middle class in India, nearly 400 million people moving into higher income brackets, the demand for cashews is only going up. By 2030, analysts predict India's cashew consumption will double. That's why this deal matters. India is playing the long game, ensuring that Tanzania becomes its trusted supplier. So what's in this deal exactly? Let's break it down. India has committed billions of dollars to secure cashew supply from Tanzania over the next decade. But it's not just about buying nuts. It's about building an ecosystem. First, India is financing new cashew processing factories inside Tanzania. That means Tanzanians won't just be exporting raw cashews anymore. They'll be exporting packaged, processed, ready-to-eat nuts, keeping more of the profits at home. Second, India is investing in storage facilities and transport infrastructure. For years, farmers lost profits because poor roads and lack of storage meant nuts spoiled or couldn't reach markets on time. This deal changes that. Third, Training. India is sending agricultural experts and food processing specialists to Tanzania to train farmers and workers in modern cashew farming, quality grading, and factory management. For Tanzanian farmers, this means guaranteed buyers at fairer prices. For India, it means a steady flow of cashews to feed its processing industry and export markets. It's what business experts call a win-win. But in truth, it's much more than that. It's a power shift, a signal that Africa and Asia can partner directly without waiting for Western approval or relying on old colonial trading systems. Let's step back for a second. This deal is about cashews, yes, but it's also about something bigger: Africa's new economic future. For decades, Africa exported raw materials cheap and imported finished goods expensive. Cocoa from Ghana, oil from Nigeria, copper from Zambia, all leaving the continent raw, all returning as expensive finished products. But now, things are changing. Deals like this show Africa's determination to add value at home. Instead of shipping raw cashews at $1 per kilo, Tanzania wants to export processed cashews at $10 per kilo. That's the difference between poverty and prosperity. It also signals South-South cooperation. Africa working with Asia, not just with Europe or America. India isn't giving Tanzania aid. It's building trade. And that is a game changer. This is why analysts say Africa Rising is no longer just a slogan. It's reality. Whenever Africa signs a mega deal, the world pays attention. And this one is no different. First, the West. Europe and the United States have long relied on African raw materials. They're not happy to see India stepping in with billion-dollar commitments. It weakens their influence. Second, Vietnam. For years, Vietnam has been India's rival in cashew processing. Vietnam buys raw nuts from Africa, processes them, and re-exports them at huge margins. But if India locks Tanzania into long-term contracts, Vietnam loses one of its biggest suppliers. Third, China. Beijing has been Africa's biggest trade partner for 2 decades. But now, India is catching up, and this deal is proof. Will China try to counter with deals of its own in cashews or other crops? Absolutely. Fourth, the global consumer. With India controlling more of the supply chain, prices could shift. Supermarkets in Europe or the Middle East may soon be selling cashews at prices influenced not by Western traders, but by African and Indian partners. This is more than a nut deal. It's a geopolitical move. Africa is no longer the passive player. It's calling the shots. But let's not forget the people at the heart of this story, the farmers. Imagine Fatima, a farmer in Tora, southern Tanzania. For years, she harvested cashews but struggled to feed her children because prices were too low. Middlemen took most of the profit. But now, with this deal, she sees hope. She says, if the factories come here, my children won't have to leave the village. They can work here, earn here, live here. Another farmer, Joseph, says, for the first time, we feel like partners, not just suppliers. These voices matter. Because this deal isn't just about governments or corporations. It's about real people getting a better chance at life. More income means better houses, better healthcare, better schools. And because women make up a huge portion of Tanzania's cashew farming workforce, this deal could also boost gender equality by giving women more financial independence. So where does this all lead? Experts say Tanzania could become Africa's cashew capital, rivaling Ivory Coast and Nigeria. With Indian investment, Tanzania could process all of its cashews locally within the next decade. For India, this is just the beginning. If the cashew deal succeeds, expect similar agreements in cocoa, oil, gas, and even renewable energy across Africa. For Africa, the future is clear: no more exporting raw goods for pennies. The continent wants to process, package, and profit at home. This deal may very well be the spark that ignites a new era of Africa. India economic revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just about nuts. This is about power, pride, and progress. With this cashew deal, Tanzania isn't just selling a crop. It's rewriting its future. India isn't just buying food. It's cementing its role as a global economic force. And Africa isn't just waiting for handouts anymore. It's rising, negotiating, and leading. Every cashew shipped from Tanzania to India is more than just a trade. It's a symbol of a new world order, one where Africa and Asia stand together, one where farmers get their fair share, one where the future belongs not to the old colonial powers, but to the nations bold enough to build new alliances. And here at Eazicho Africa, we'll keep bringing you these stories. Stories of Africa's rise, Africa's resilience, and Africa's revolution. So if you believe Africa deserves the spotlight, hit that subscribe button, share this video, and join us as we continue to uncover the truth. Africa is not waiting. Africa is already here. Africa is rising.